Hello, we're back. Okay, now what I'm going to do is just talk a little bit about programming the routes. So in this case, what you have to do is you have to go hit the emergency button and within like a second switch into the operation button. So let me see if I could toggle that. Emergency and then, oh wait, emergency. I can feel having a feeling the button. Emergency and, oh, see, so now I'm toggling through the programming mode. So in this case, here I would be adjusting the station number 1. What is the address of that locomotive? Okay, I can talk a little bit about that one. So this is where you set the address of which locomotive you want to program. So in this case, it's set. The first station is set to address 34, and it's the low speed step. I guess it's 14 speed steps, and then you have 32, and then 128. So in this case, first locomotive is 34, and it's lower speed steps, and then the second locomotive is 50 and it's high speed steps. The third locomotive is 51, is high speed steps because the arrow is pointing towards the right, and same for the fourth locomotive is the high speed steps. And so if I go to the keypad here, and I'll see I can toggle through. Again, the first row is first locomotive, second row second locomotive, third row third, and fourth fourth. So as I press the up button, I'll be able to pick the locomotive. So let's say I want the first locomotive, I want it to be address 3. I'll just press this button until I get down to address 3. And then the third button, when I touch it, as I hold it, and just in case it gives you a quick, you'll notice there are a bunch of zeros. That's because you can, you might you might want to send the first locomotive to 103 and not 3. And since here they can only display 2 of the digits and then the speed step, it's like how would you be able to display it? So by holding the button, you'll be able to see if it's 03 or it's 103. So that's that, and then this would the fourth button is to be able to tell you how many speed steps you have. So as you could see, it's off in the first case, station 1. It's 0 speed speed set. I'm not sure. This is medium. I will have to double check. We'll put that one as off. And the second one, if I go to the second row, you'll see I can toggle between low, high, and off. So let's say I'll put this one as low. The third one will be as high, and the fourth one is also high. But let's say now I want to change the second locomotive to address 4. So I'll press the down button here for the second row. Locomotive 4. Then on the third row here, I'll press the down button until that gets to locomotive 5. And then the fourth row down here, we'll go to locomotive 6. Oops. 6. As the light, sorry for the moving camera. Okay. So the first speed step is off, the second one is low, low, and high. Now let me try and toggle to the next programming screen. Let's see. See, and now I'm back to the screen. See the main screen. So the first locomotive is set for address 3, 4, 5, and 6. Emergency stop. Again, emergency stop, and then option. I'm back to that second screen. So the second menu is actually, sorry, the first menu is for adjusting the locomotive addresses. Am I on the right switch? Service mode. So this is the CVs where you want to change the values of the CV. So in this case, let's say you're programming a locomotive. You have now connect the power to the to a separate piece of track. Put your locomotive on that track, and you can program the CVs. This gets a little complicated, but I'll give you a quick little tutorial here. So in the case of the keypad here, let me see if I push up the fourth button down here. So this will scroll through the CVs. For service mode or page mode, you can see the last digits at the end. Anyway, in this case, I'm scrolling through 9, 10, 11. Then I'm scrolling. That was that button. This button is for to scroll down. then the third row, this button number 7 here will be the to scroll up and down, so up for the value of that CV. So then 8 will be to scroll down, similar to how you adjust the speeds for locomotive. So in this case, let's say I want to program the locomotive, which is CV1. CV1, I want to change the address of the locomotive to 10. And then I'll go here, I'll change this guy up to 10, go down to 10. I'm pressing this key, I'll go down to 10. And then I think execute is this button. Is it that one or is it that one? Oh, that's the read. Write confirm. Because there's an option to read. If the locomotive is on the track and you'll hit this button, it'll go and it'll verify if that address is actually set to what you've set it to. Anyway, again in the future I'll come back to this, and if people need to know more information, we can talk about programming CVs. The next option I wanted to go to originally was for the turnouts. Let's see. That's the version of the software. Oh, that's a hard reset button. There you go. Emergency stop, function, CVs, toggle through. This is the screen that I wanted to show you earlier. So in this case, we're in the record mode. REC, route A, step 1, and then the turnout, what you want to set it to. There's a certain amount of spaces in the memory of how many turnouts you can, how many steps you can install. I believe it starts at 247 steps. In this case, because there's a bunch of them set in memory, there's 86 steps left. So let's see about going through this. So let's see how the keypad is. See, if I wanted to, let's say, now it's a record mode, so it's going to remember whatever you're putting into this mode. In this case, if I, let me see, if I set, yeah, that'll, see this corner button is step up. So it's on route A, and it's stepping through. As I press the button, it steps up for step, whatever the steps are. Tells you what it's set. Then that's the 0. Then this one is, I believe this is step down. Yeah. So you'll step down through the steps that's been programmed. And then the B button is the route incremental up. So as I press the B button, you'll see I'll go in this case, alphabetically, and it stays on step 1. So step G, step 1, H, step 1, I, step 1, J, step 1, and so forth. It'll go through. If I press the C button, it's the down, so it'll go down, backwards. So this goes, the routes go from A to Z to whatever you want to program. So now in this case, step 1, let's say it's set at 16. If I wanted to set it to 22, I would press 22. Then I would toggle this. The A button is toggle whether or not you want it to the turnout to go straight or turn. So in this case, I'll toggle whatever I want, straight or turn. And then what happens is now I'll press the enter button, which is in this case the D. And now it goes to the second step. In this case, it's been programmed for 15. Then so I might want to change it. I might want to say, okay, no, that'll be 11. Press 11, and I'll throw it or put it straight. Now to confirm, I'll press the D button, and now I'll jump to the third step, and I can change them as I want. So, and if I go backwards, press this again, what I was saying before, see 11, I go back again, 22. See, that's what I've programmed it to. So, and that's how you go through all the turnouts. So you program them. So then what happens is now when you go back into the play mode, I'll hit the that's the display is telling you what size of a display you have. That's the next menu. It's a 16:2 display. The keyboard is a top and analog. So what happens is you can set the first row of keys will be the first locomotive, and the second row is second, third row is third, and fourth row is fourth. But you can also turn it the other way around. Let me see. It's this button. Yeah, bottom. See, so what happens now, the first, in the display, the first locomotive that would be showing there would be the bottom row. Then you would, so it would be working from the bottom up. So the bottom one would be the first locomotive, second locomotive, third, the fourth locomotive would be at the top. If you have it for top, in this case you have the fourth locomotive would be at the bottom. And then the time delay between throwing the turnout. So in this case it's set to 20 milliseconds, 20 by 40. I'm not sure how that's calculated, but you would increase those values here on the keypad. Let me see. Yes, here you see 1920. It's page up. And that's down. So depending on how fast, because if you have a capacitor's charge or you need a time to charge, you might want to increase these numbers. Then that was the keyboard. Go back to TA, because TA is top and analog, which means the buttons. Because if you just put top, if you just wanted top, then those analog buttons wouldn't be working. And again here I'll see how I'll toggle between 16 and 2 or 4 by 20, 20 by 4. Okay, then the next menu, let me toggle that button, center button. Sorry again for the camera. This is a pulse mode. See, this system has a lot of stuff going for it. This is when you're, because it's the advanced chip, it allows you to copy your turnouts sequences to your computer. You can save them as a file. So in the case of data, it's load or save. The power safe mode is to check for, I believe it's shorts on the track. And then the link will allow you, basically you will have an app on the like on your tablet you can install on your Windows device, but you'll have to have a wire that's physically connected between this station and your tablet, and you'll be able to control it from your tablet instead of having to use this keypad that's here. So, but that's for future expansion. So at least that code is being looked at now. Mini station. You see, I think I flipped to a 4x20 low display. This is why it's giving it a little bit weird. Oops. Yeah, see 4x20. Let me toggle that back. 16. There we go. Emergency stop. Oh, don't want that. Let me toggle through. See, excuse me. Now I went to route A and see the first turnout. The first step in route A is set to 22, which is what we programmed before. So it remembers again. That's what the whole reason for those route controls. If I go to step 2, it'll be 11, which is what we changed, and then we didn't change the rest. So they are what they are. So now as I toggle through, again, this button is step up, this one is step down, this is route up, route down. So we'll go back to A, and then we'll say the enter button, which is to execute, and then you'll see it'll take 22, will switch, step 11, 3, 5, see, and again, depending on how fast that number I was showing you before, the 19 and the 20 on that screen, sorry, tells you how fast it'll run through these steps. So I think that is all there is for now. Again, and maybe in a future video I'll talk about the programming and so forth. So that's what this mini station does. So it allows you to run your trains, adjust some CVs. You can program some CVs. You'll be able to read some CVs. And what's nice is the turnout, which I haven't seen on many built-in on many stations. They do have turnout controls where you can switch them, but as far as creating routes and stuff, usually there's an add-on board that you have to get. So that's what the MiniDCC project is all about. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.